Welcome back, everybody. We are on episode 14 of the Idaho Falls Auditorium series with Construction Business TV. My name is Tyson. I'm your video journalist for CBTV Idaho. I'm joined here today with Rob Spear and Malone Bullock. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great, Tyson. Can't believe this is episode 14. A year ago, we were standing here 14 episodes ago, and there were no walls up, and so here we are today. We're going to see a lot of finished product.
I was driving, because we're right next to the freeway, driving down the freeway yesterday, passing this building and remembering, 13, 12 months ago, being out here on site, and it was nothing but a bunch of cement slabs on the ground. So for me personally, and I hope for the viewers at home, because this has been the whole point of Construction Business TV, is to help build an appreciation and a respect for the kind of work that these guys do on a daily basis. And it's certainly built respect in me, and seeing how a couple of slabs of concrete has turned into this in a very short period of time. So salute to you, man.
Yeah, it's been a long road getting here, but we're slowly making headway and working towards the final date in November here.
And I know, and I was talking to Rob here before we went on camera, that we're potentially, this is episode 14, probably going to be just one more episode because our opening day is the end of November 28th. So we'll probably have one more, and then we're going to have a special, probably a live stream of the opening day on the 28th. Exciting?
Very exciting. And, a lot of work needs to be done, but I'm anxious to get in there today and show what's happened over the last month and give the viewers an opportunity to see the progress.
I imagine we have plenty to see today.
We do. I think you can see right behind us, you can see most of the exterior signage has been installed. Virtually most of the concrete work around the building has been completed. Parking lots, we have one parking lot left to complete, and some patch-up work here towards the building, but most of the exterior is coming along really well. The canopies will be a little lag because of the wall panels, but certainly they'll be finished before we open. But when we get inside, I'm excited to show you the actual seating configuration and how it's starting to look and come together, and then of course get into the convention space, and then you can now start to see how the locker rooms are going to look.
Talking about the parking lots too, refresh my memory, but I believe that I heard that the parking lots are going to serve occasionally more purpose than just parking the vehicles. You guys will actually have some events out here, is that right?
Well, it's the plan. One of our partners, Iron Horse RV and Rexburg Motorsports, they took the naming rights to these 3 beautiful parking lots, and they would love to have RV shows and do a lot of things, but I think the sky's the limit as we get open and what you can actually do in these parking lots. I'm thinking maybe a 3-on-3 hoop fest type activity at some point.
I love it. Is there anything you want to say before we go inside?
No, let's go inside.
Let's take a look.
A lot has transpired within a week, so tell us what is the process here. They've had to go do a lot of work as far as drilling, but tell the viewer a little bit about how these things were actually installed.
So like you said, Rob, it's been a lot of work in the past few weeks here. So you can see down the lower section here, we have 3 rows of telescopic seating area. So that's what we'll be able to retract underneath some of the precast to give you a larger floor. But those seats will come up and put you right close to the glass for the ice hockey rink, so you can actually see the action from those first 3 rows pretty close. But so they been working on that one, putting those platforms in, making them retractable. So you got seats mounting, they're still working on there. Then above that's where you got your fixed seating. And for that process there, they had to drill thousands of holes. Each seat has about almost 4 holes in it. They had to get drilled into the precast, then anchors put in, then bolted on. So it's been quite a process. But the Irwin Seating, who's a company that we've been out here that's been doing the telescopic seating and the fix, they've been doing a fantastic job out here managing the project and just making this bowl change shape. I know we've been talking about, when the precast goes in, it's going to change. When this goes in, it's going to change. This is another transformation with these seats going in. It's remarkable in here.
And it's incredible how fast they move, because as you said, they had to drill 4 holes in the concrete for every seat. over 4,000 seats, and I think, correct me, but last Friday, a week ago, there were really 3 seats installed. And then here we are today, a week later, and you have all the chair backs.
True. When they came out here, they installed 3 seats, get a look of, and they were just drilling holes. But now, like I said, there's many times more than that.
Hey, how about we go sit in a couple of those seats?
Let's go do it.
Well, Malone, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty comfortable right now.
That's the first time I sat down today, so yeah, this is nice.
I bet. And so you can get a good feel here with every seat in this facility is going to have a padded bottom and chair backs. And the one thing I'd like to point out here is if you can see on this seat here, this little indenture here, which is where individual names will go for people who purchase seat plaques. And so for $750, you can put your name on a seat. And the beauty is, that $750 one-time contribution gives you the ability to have first right of refusal to any ticketed event in the future that the Mountain America Center controls. So, Malone, I think that's a great deal. What do you think?
I don't think that's not a bad option to have. If you're trying to get to all the events, one-time fee, so.
So as we sit here relaxing with this, matter of fact, I think took us till episode 14 to actually sit on our episodes, but so we look around here, a couple other cool things that are happening here is now we can start to see the formation of the video board. So you look across directly on both sides and we've got the 12 by 22 outline of the video board, and then underneath is a ribbon board. So tell us a little bit about that installation, and again, how important it was to sequence the workers that are in here, because as you see, you got the seat installers, you got electrical, you have the video board people. So again, huge coordination.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. So there's been a lot of huge coordination in here. Just the biggest one is trying to keep people safe, especially with trays working overhead. So we had a station off certain sections where people couldn't work in with overhead work. Like I said, during those video boards, they actually had to mag drill and some structural steel to put their brackets in there to start mounting all the structural support for those video boards. Then with the ribbon board, it's kind of a simpler install where they just drilled that right in the back where we had that structural metal stud framing where it attaches to. So right here, they got that side done. Where we're over here, where we're sitting right now, this is where the next section, they'll come over and start doing overhead because they'll be out of this portion by the time we continue that work next week.
Yeah, just a huge kudos to Bateman-Hall Hogan for how they've been able to coordinate this. As we look around, you can start to get the feel. And the other thing that I'm seeing right now, Malone, is that's completed is you can see the black covering above the ribbon board area. You can see again, we talked about the lapendary system that's completely installed now. The tectum panels that are going to go up around the white above the ribbon board area, and tectum panels on the concrete area right behind. And the reason for that is to improve the acoustics in this facility, correct?
Yeah, so part of the acoustics is for helping feedback. We're being loud and everything. It helps deadening the sound of the atmosphere in here, which if you look at this bowl and you look around, I can't imagine the atmosphere is going to be in here for a game or a concert, people cheering, yelling. Like, it's going to be quite loud in here still, but that's supposed to help with that, where it doesn't revert back to the mics or back to the performers that'll be in this facility. Yeah.
Great point. It's going to create that energy you want for an athletic event. It's going to be able to get loud. You're going to be able to use their ribbon board and video boards. But on the other hand, to have all those acoustical tiles and paneling and the lapendary system is going to help for concerts because it'll be able to control the sound from ricocheting. So tell us a little bit about that lapendary install. So it was interesting. We got up to the catwalk the other day and actually seen those lapendary, and I thought they were like a sheet, very thin, but they're almost the size of an inch thick, like a gym mat.
Yeah, they're about, like I said, an inch and a half. So they're also covered in black fabric, so they're kind of draped. So I don't know exactly all the materials in there, but they're designed to help absorb sound. And part of having the droop in there too is to help stop the vibration or the backflow of the sound from the decking above there and all that steel. So we don't just have the ones that hang down like droop, we also have some vertical ones that go around the whole bowl as well to help stop that vibration sound. So it's been quite a process of coordination, overhead work, and safety of everybody.
You know, I'm getting quite comfortable here, and maybe we should think about moving on, but since we're here, we're going to take advantage of this great location. A couple things that we really can see now is the formation of the 12 suites that we have. They're all enclosed, and then if you look over here towards the end zone, you can start to see the difference between a suite and a loge box. The loge boxes are half wall, they're a little bit more open, and those are all now almost all framed in, so things coming along. So where should we go next?
Well, I think another one would be nice to see. You can start seeing the locker rooms. We've got some millwork going in there, so we can go take a gander at those, and then we'll probably go down to the banquet hall. Yeah.
Well, Malone, here we are in one of the visitor locker rooms. There's 6 of these visitor locker rooms, and so tell us what's new in here. Several things.
So I think the last time we were in here, we just got the Mondo flooring down. It's kind of dirty right now because we've been doing some of the millwork in here. As you kind of look behind us, you can see that we start putting the benches in for the visitor locker rooms. Each one replacement has a hook where they hang their gear and a top shelf as well. So this is, like I said, 1 of 6. And these all can get larger and almost double in size, give you 3 good sized locker rooms.
Right. If you look behind the door, it actually extends into that other locker room, and I can tell the viewers out there that this, having 6 locker rooms is really key for this facility. We've had the opportunity to have the Idaho State High School Activities Association over here a couple times. We want to have some state tournaments of any kind in this facility, and they were impressed because we have the 6 locker rooms plus the home team locker room. Very important when you're going to host tournaments because you're going to have 2 teams playing, 2 teams getting ready to play. You have to have an officials room, and then of course we have that wonderful space over there, that convention space. So we'll stop by the home team locker room and see the progress there, and then hopefully we'll finish up on that.
Are these locker rooms also being used for something else during concerts?
Could,
potentially.
You know, that's a great point. You know, they are designed to be a green room for concerts, for artists, and we also have, thanks to Bateman-Hall's willingness to put a 50-amp charger out there in the loading dock, so it's equipped to have the artists pull up in their bus and stay in that. So a lot of amenities here that are going to be great, not only for the visitor experience, but for the artist experience as well.
So one question I've had, what is a green room?
You're asking me what a green room is? Well, what I would say is it's, you know, the color green, but obviously it's not. It's really as I understand it, and we need our guy Eric Hudson with us today, who is unfortunately out ill, but the green room is essentially a nice space that is going to be able where the artists can come in between acts and relax, and it'll be fixed up a little bit more than just benches, right? We'll have some nice furniture in there, refrigerator, other things to make it really feel like it's home. Did I handle that okay?
I think so. I've been asked that question. I'm like, I was new to the whole concept. What is a green room? I'm thinking of like a green screen. So.
Yeah, there you go. So you and I probably aren't booking any concerts.
No, not anytime soon.
Right. Malone, this looks awesome. First time I've been in here to see the actual lockers installed, and I know our great videographer here, Tyson, was saying, well, I was thinking they're metal lockers with locks. Not this day and age. These lockers are designed for the home team hockey team, and I think they're fabulous. They're wood. It's going to give them a lot of space to hang their jerseys, all their hockey gear. And what else do we see going on in here? I see a couple other counters going in.
So what else is in here kind of in front of us, what we're looking at, you probably won't be able to see, is actually where it's a cabinet that has a TV where they can probably use film or whatever, just relaxing. I think this could also be used as another green room or hospitality room for whatever artists is what I've kind of heard of in the past too. So in these lockers, if you kind of look behind us here, one thing I did some research on here, that there's actually skate hooks where to hang their skates up on there. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting concept. So these home team locker room was custom built to house for this hockey team. So they have functions for hanging their skates and a few other areas too. So but it has plenty of hooks. Underneath the bench, there's a cubby there with air vents, because who knows how dirty their clothes are going to get or smell. So then outside of this home team locker room, there's also a stick room that has a custom built cabinet to match the lockers that will house their hockey sticks when they come and leave the ice.
Great overview. Can't wait to get those Spud Kings home so they can actually experience playing in their home arena. But this facility, this locker space was really designed to, with aspirations at some point in time, maybe attracting a minor league hockey team here, and certainly with the amenities that they have with their locker room, the stick room, the coaches' offices, the medical rooms, all those things that come with the program, they're here. So But one step at a time, get the Spud Kings back here and start playing some hockey in December. Malone, we have doors. These are awesome here to see the loading dock finally closed up. Now these doors obviously serve a purpose, but they also serve another purpose when we start to fire up the mechanical system.
So you're right. So they do serve a couple purposes, not just keeping secured the building at night for us, also keeping the riprap out. Well, right now we're trying to get all the doors on because we're at the process of starting up the RTU units that heat and chill the building. So with that, we need to have this building closed in, sealed up tight, so we can test and balance it, make sure we don't have doors are being hard or easy to pull open or getting blown out by the HVAC system in here. Because we had several conversations on, there's 6 big RT units up here, 90 tons a piece, that are pumping air through this whole facility. So there's a lot of airflow in here, so it's helping with that, but also it's going to help us to start keeping this building warm, where we can start turning that heat on, where we can finish doing the tape and texturing around the concourse, also the painting. And we know how the winter was when we had this whole building tinted just to pour concrete. So I'm glad I'm not doing that this year, and I'm pretty sure some of the Bateman-Hall guys and guys from Hogan that had to help us out are glad not to be doing that as well.
We're glad you're not doing it either, but you know, like I said at the opening of this, it's hard to believe a year ago we didn't have any walls, and now we're talking about testing the mechanical systems and bringing permanent heat into the facility. So great job.
No, thank you.
Okay, Malone, here we are in the kitchen. It's really progressing nicely, and we've talked about this before. We got the 3 big grease hoods behind me, and as you can see, this whole space is a kitchen area, and it's designed to provide a quality food service to the convention space as well as upstairs to the premium seat level. One of the things I've seen in here is the tile is in this facility now, which is going to allow the kitchen equipment to be installed, but this has to go into the 5 concession stands as well. Big process.
Yes, that is quite a process. So like I said, this kitchen area is quite large, and part of this, when we're prepping for this slab was actually poured 2 inches lower than the rest of the building. And part of that was to house for a grout bed to be the basis for the tile to sit on, for this quarry tile.
And also to slope it to the drains correctly.
Correct, so you also get some of the slopage, so the water has a place to go these drains, where there still be some work where you have to use a squeegee to coach it there, but that's the majority of it helps doing that grout bed to get that slope in there to the drains. And it was quite a large process, because this is a large kitchen area.
Right.
And this is going to house what for the whole facility here, Rob?
Well, it's going to, like I said, 3 big grease hoods. There's going to be grills. There's going to be, you see over on this side, there's a big walk-in coolers, a dishwashing machine behind, and whatever else goes with all the prep areas for tables and things. You can see all the different outlets here where things are going to be equipped and plugged into. But big milestone to get these tile floors in. Will be really big milestones when we get them into these concession stands, because you can't go any further with installation of equipment until these tile floors are
Correct.
installed.
And you said you brought in the concessions, so we got the 5 concessions around the Hero Arena here. So we got to do the same thing in there. We got to do that grout bed and help with the sloping to the drains where the quarry tile can go in. So yeah, we're starting that process here, doing the first one flooring is next week in there. So we're moving. It's just this one was quite a large area to get going, and we're hoping to start getting kitchen equipment here in the days to come.
All right, well, let's get out into that conference space to see where the fruits of the labor in here will eventually go
That'd be
to
great.
serve people some great food. I had the opportunity the other day to see the catering menu that they're going to have, and it's fabulous. Price conscious and quality good food, whether you want breakfast, lunch, dinner, or an a la carte. So anyway, can't wait. So let's go and check that convention space out. Ready? Well, here we are, Malone. I feel almost guilty walking on this beautiful carpet, but as you can see, this thing is almost done. The only thing left, I think, are the chair rails that go around, but as you can see, we got an example of a projector and screen behind us, and we have the collapsible walls in because this space, as big as it is, we can divide it into 5 separate meeting spaces. So tell us a little bit about those collapsible walls.
So that was quite a process in there. So to start just the install for those collapsible walls, we actually had to put the track in when the steel was in place. So that was starting this last fall. Can you believe that? Last fall, Rob.
I had no idea that you were doing collapsible walls in here last fall.
So part of that, we actually had to mag drill into the structural steel supports to install the track system because these panels are quite large and quite heavy. So that had to be part of the structural component to get those drilled in, anchored in place, and we had to protect them as we're still finishing the roof at the time. So that was the first process. And over the last few weeks, we've been in here putting the partitions in. So we have the doors covering them up, then you have these folding panel partitions that come out, they all click together to make a wall. And also it helps with the sound barrier in between these different spaces. So if you have multi-functions come in here, that will help with that sound.
So this area is the Blue Cross of Idaho Conference Center, and the other cool thing that's happened this last week is their exterior signage was placed on this building, on this part of the building, I should say. So let's go take a look at that exterior signage. Oh. The infrastructure behind an ice rink and a sheet of ice is incredible, especially when you look at that sheet of ice in there is going to be just 2 inches thick. And so we're out here today taking a look at this big unit, and I can remember actually trying to figure out where to install this thing called a condenser. So Malone, to the best of your knowledge, neither one of us know much about building ice, but you know better than I about what the function of this condenser unit is.
So yeah, I know we were struggling trying to find a place for this condenser unit. It's like 14 feet tall, just the condenser unit itself, not even including on the platform that it's on. So to my understanding, which is, I'm learning more about mechanical work, so part of this condenser unit is actually to help chill the brine system or the liquid that they're using to chill the concrete floor inside that here arena bowl area, to chill that to make the ice. So that's part of that process, to run that solution through there, to chill it and have all that pumping system pump it all the way back into the building where the bowl is and pump through that miles and miles of line to chill that floor to make that ice.
Well, that makes sense because that door that goes underneath the condensing unit goes right into the ice-making mechanical structure, and there's a ton of compressors and things of that nature. So now it all makes sense. They needed to have access in the future in case they need to change out a compressor and have that door, that access, and so it seems like a great fit.
It is.
That's going to do it for episode 14. 14 of, I think it's going to be 15 is when we're going to wrap this up. We're fast approaching the end, and it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun journey to see this thing come to fruition and see a lot of people's dreams fulfilled, mine especially. What can we look forward to in the coming weeks?
In the upcoming weeks, we're hoping to get more of those locker rooms wrapped up. Try to have millwork up there. They started wrapping up, finished on the exterior of the building, the parking lot, seat installation. So we're pressing forward. There's still a lot to get done, but we got a lot to do.
And a quickly diminishing amount of time to do it, I imagine.
Yes.
Are you feeling the heat?
I think everybody's been feeling the heat since we started the project. So.
And here's a good question. Once this thing is all said and done, what's next for you? Whether it be a job or a vacation?
Well, I'll say a well-deserved vacation for sure.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure this time. I'll do what I need to do to help out our company and keep on helping the community out here. So.
Does that involve, are you mainly regional, or do you end up traveling to other parts of the country?
So mostly for me, I've been mostly here local. We do have several of our superintendents that travel out of state to work on the projects that we have. Mostly of our work we kind of done on the west side of the states.
Okay. What about you? Once this is all said and done, where do you see yourself?
That's a great question, Tyson. Obviously, I want to stay through the first year of operations to make sure this thing is going to fulfill the expectations of the community and make sure that working with the manager to do it. And then you may see me with one of those signs looking for work. I don't know, maybe.
Out in front of the Walmart?
Could be.
I thought you could do the sign throwers dancing instead.
I think, let's see, I just had a thought in case we don't end up getting back to it for our final episode. If there's anything for a question for either of you, if there's anything that the viewers, that you would want them to take away from this opportunity that they've had to watch a play-by-play of something like this coming together and seeing behind the scenes stuff that people normally don't get to see or acknowledge or appreciate, what would you want them to take away from this whole viewing experience?
Well, a better understanding of how detailed and significant of an undertaking this is. As we were talking earlier about you doing kind of a little bit of a time lapse from the first episode to the last, I think it would be really cool to see how this thing's transpired in a 3 to 4 minute segment, so people don't have to rewatch. And I'm sure they're watching them constantly, all of our episodes. But it would be nice to have that, just so that you could understand how, again, significant, detailed, and I've used this term so many times here in our segments, sequencing. But it'd be able to coordinate all the workers and all the trades that have to bring something like this to fruition.
And for the people, and I'm gonna bounce the question back to you as well, but riding off of what Rob here said, for the people who haven't had a chance to, this may be the first time that they've seen this show. This is episode 14. There are 13 other episodes. We've done one every month for the past 13 months. There's a whole playlist on the Construction Business TV YouTube channel. You can follow that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna have plenty more videos coming out. We're wrapping up this series, but we're gonna have more projects in the future for other projects happening in the Idaho Falls area. So now that I got that plug in, rerouting the question back to you though, I wanted to hear your input too.
So I think with mine, just there's a lot of work that goes coordinating, and just you have to be able to work, communicate with people, and it may seem they're moving slow, then others just mean going fast, but a lot of that behind the scene work is the coordination, talking, or there's problems at hand that need to be resolved. So as you watch the videos, you may see, oh, that went really quick, or that's going really slow, but there's a lot of work still taking place. Like you may see framing go up really quick, but then you can't do sheetrock until you do all your electrical, your plumbing, all that stuff, the infrastructure that goes in the walls before the sheetrock goes on. So you just got to understand there's a sequencing and a process for it. Some things go slow, some things go really fast, and vice versa. Ultimately, this series is only, we can't even scratch the surface of what goes on here. You're getting 10 minutes a month of what you guys have to deal with and what you guys have to overcome and the challenges that you face. And I'm sure that we still don't even have a clue, but at least maybe we can have a little more appreciation and acknowledgement. I would agree with that. Excellent. Thank you guys so much again for your time. We're going to have probably one more episode of this, and we're going to have, as I mentioned before, plenty more stories on other construction projects and developments going on in the Idaho Falls area. My name's Tyson. I'm your video journalist for Construction Business TV Idaho. Thank you guys again so much for your time and your supports and your subscriptions as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know where the button is, and hope you guys have a good one. Drive safe.